moving to oneness. Nourishing curiosity. Embracing differences. Becoming one.
Didn't think it would start this way, but okay. I'm laughing already, everyone. This is a fantastic start. As I was honing in how to start this podcast episode today, the Great Lakes showed up.
Yes.
Yes, and they're bringing a clarity, they're bringing freshness. And for all of us to have fun, and I'll speak about what it is, why those magnificent bodies of water appeared. So please stay tuned to the Moving to Oneness podcast. Hello, I'm your host, Meilin, and I want to introduce you to a beautiful man who really exuberates a joy and laughs a lot and comes from the area of the southern part of the Great Lakes, from Chicago. So Daniel John Hanneman is with us today. So Daniel, welcome to Moving to Oneness.
I'm so honored to be here, Meilin. I really super appreciate you and the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, it's our path crossed over and over the last decade. And you know, everyone, this is the beautiful thing. And when it is the right time, when everything is set, then you will meet a person, things get going, inspiration comes, movement comes. And this is also here now a beautiful place. The first time we met, we both did not have podcasts. And now both we have podcasts. I have one and you even have two. We'll talk a little bit more deeply about that. But you know, this is the beauty of life and how things turn. And I want to bring that out into the episode because Daniel, you see the beauty in the world. I noticed that you see the beauty in the cosmos and you see the beauty in each person and want to, in a way, nudge people to become their greatest, right? And to follow the purpose. Can you speak to that, how that came out of you a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes from my own journey. I was just reflecting on this again yesterday of the years I've spent feeling like I was isolated. I wasn't one with the one in terms of like other people, you know, like I felt one within myself, maybe at some level, but I just remember, you know, growing up just feeling awkward and all that, especially in high school, got even worse. Just like, okay, this is ridiculous, all the things that these teenagers are into. And I was much, you know, weirder and deeper or whatever than everybody else. I'm like, none of this makes sense to me. What's the point of school? Blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to grow up and do whatever my purpose was. I had no clue. And I was depressed, anxious, and all that. And so it was just always this feeling of like, I'm not seen, I'm not understood. I can't even be myself. I have to be invisible almost, you know, at my moments and with certain friends and stuff. Yeah, okay, whoa, all right, he showed up. But like mostly pull it back, don't be yourself. No one's going to be able to handle that or deal with that. And then I ran into instances with that at times when I would show up more in college. I remember like when I started college, I remember like I would, because I can be a lot of fun. Yeah, there's the fun side of me. Then there's like kind of the diligent, almost, like warrior like level of me too. And I remember like criticizing like people's papers and stuff, like because we're told, tell them what they need to correct in their papers, or correcting each other's papers in the class. And I was so tough on what they had done, not because I was trying to be tough on them, but because I was being exact to what I saw needed to be changed. That the teacher literally pulled me aside and says, you can't be like that. You can't be that strong, right? I remember in another class, I was being fun and I was wisecracking and stuff. And I thought I was having a good time. I wasn't trying to show up the professor, but he pulled me aside. He's like, all right, common sense boy wonder, you better, change, you better not keep showing up like that. And I share unusual ideas in classes, and people be like, well, wow, I wouldn't want to hang out with you and your friends with those kind of thoughts, like just different thoughts, like deeper thoughts. And like I just again, I could go with all these examples, right? But like just everywhere I would go, I didn't have girlfriends because I just felt like, okay, girlfriends, all my peers are all like, let's just try to get women and sex and all this sort of, people around me that seem to be more the vibe than, a relationship. And I'm just like, okay, I reject all that because my sister also got pregnant, out of like after doing a lot of that sort of stuff. And I'm like, no, I won't be that. And just my mom got pregnant with my dad, like, so all these things, I go on and on, all these little stories, but I just kept thinking like how this world doesn't make sense. There's injustice. I could see myself with white privilege when I was like 10 years old. Like I didn't feel bad about it, quite frankly. I felt good. Like, oh, I am privileged. Thank God. I honestly looked at it more that way, but I saw, I could see the issues, right? And you do feel for that at the same time. So being kind of born awake and coming in the world awake was kind of really awkward for me. And I literally had to go into sales trainings and like become a salesperson for a few years after college, after getting my psychology degree, to try to find my way. And then because I always felt like my parents underperformed in their businesses because they wouldn't do marketing and sales really. I'm like, okay, all right. And I need to like I will be the answer to that, right? And then I got my master's eventually in clinical psychology, to just fast forward this right now. But I was ridiculed there too. Like I was held back all an entire year, told you're awkward, you're different, you're I don't know, you're really tuned in, man. You know so much, but almost too much just was kind of the message. And you ask too many questions,
You ask too many
we're gonna put you
questions.
in mediation because you're too different. And yet when I was done like my thesis, the professor's like, can I do more with this? This is a great thesis you came up with, after they said I wasn't making enough progress on it in the beginning, right? And so they had to hold me back. It's just like just this, people call it whatever, clusterfuck or whatever in the English language way. But anyway, like these that's what it felt like. I know better now, but like I just felt like this is insane. This world I live in, fired from my first job out of my clinical psychology degree. You don't fit in here. Literally, they told me that you just don't fit in. That's okay. This is a constant message. You don't fit in here, but maybe somewhere else you'll fit in. You'll find your thing, I guess. I'm like, okay. And so thank God I had someone like my dad saying, you're a very innovative person, you're different, people aren't going to always like it. So that's kind of in the back of my mind, that statement my dad made, which and him always saying, I know you're going to be all right, you're gonna be fine. But yeah, so much loneliness, so much not having relationships with people, not having a ton of friends and all this sort of thing. And then eventually, what happened is I just really woke up to who I was as I progressed. I did get into my career as a counselor and everything after I was told I probably couldn't even do it. I was so inept or whatever, but I'm a genius at tuning in and all this stuff. And so I did that, and hypnotherapy and hypnosis and all the trainings we do, right? I work with the chronically mentally ill, where again, people misunderstood. They're seen as bizarre and there's something wrong with them. And I was looking more so at like how they're whole, how they're well, and using spiritual principles and truths with them even before I fully studied them. I
Yeah.
just knew things, right? And so I got into science of mind and all this stuff. And I just started realizing, hey, we're way more than anybody realizes, especially back in the 90s when I first got it into spirituality and everything. I'm like, oh my God, it's my mission to tell everybody they're infinite and they can do anything. And I went down that path and I manifested my dream, partner in life and everything, and have a beautiful family and use my gifts. Eventually, like I opened up to this energy scan technique, this ability to really hone those superpowers I
Mm-hmm.
have and really
Yeah.
get into people's energies. And then what spawned from there is helping people around the world to do the same. Other people that feel a little different or weird, and I want some authentic, deep, aligned path to be in the world and to help people and make money and maybe have a good business or a really good business and thrive and do the deep work that we're here to do, to really wake up and to wake the world up and have fun doing it too, right? And
Yes.
I found my other divine weirdos, so to speak, and worked with a lot of people. And but yeah, I've been up to a number of things for the last 7 years, but really it all comes from like realizing, we have abilities and we're tapped in and we're connected at levels that people have no clue about. That's why I love my energy scan training. It really opens people up to that. Like, let me just begin to show you, even like through the work you could be doing with your clients and getting clients and everything. And then like it opens the door, and then I can keep showing them more from there. But people have no clue like what's available to them. Even once they start to get it, they're like, no, I got it. I'm tapping into the Akashic records. I talk to my guides every day. I meditate. I really do. I do get it. And it's like, yeah, most of you still don't get it. Like, and so I like to really help in that area and I have a huge passion for sales because that's kind of part of my thing in life. That's why I was born in the family I was born into, right? The oneness of that.
Yes.
Oh, they're underperforming even though I had okay businesses. It's like, yeah, but my God, there's so much more potential. So like that's why I'm a big advocate for the light
Ooh.
leader,
Mm-hmm.
increase the sales tremendously by being all of who they really are and coming out of the box and realizing because they usually do feel like they're too weird, too different, even when they're really successful, some of them, and to help them to go to their next level, whatever that is. So anyway, thank you for your question. I just kind of just ran with it.
No, that's so important. So many people probably recognize themselves in it, and we don't speak often enough about that. We stay quiet, we pull in. Many people suffer under not being able to find their way to express it in work, in business. They start numbing themselves. We tighten up. I have experienced several of your examples too, especially this long search of profession and always feeling a little part of it, but not all of it, right? And now I'm happy. Maybe the younger generation, it's different. We can talk first of all about spiritual at every party. Yeah, it is more open. But when we were younger, it was anyway very strict how you chose your professions, right? Or even in college, and you had to sit in and you couldn't shine. And it also had maybe still the backing that the parents or the adults or old elder people at that time were still afraid what was prior, right? Where they really did not even show that they're different. Here, culturally in Europe, it's still, you can notice this, and maybe in other countries as well. I don't think so much in the US. My dad is from Wisconsin, so a little up the shore
Yeah, a
in
little closer to
Oshkosh.
me.
Yeah. And when I lived there a little bit, I noticed that wasn't so strong. And especially when I came back after 20 years in the US, I did notice again, also the cultural way of not peeking up and showing you different, and the others not making sure that you don't, and not that they do it out of meanness or they wanted to keep you small, but it was not safe. And this rings with it. And I think luckily that is disappearing, but there's still many a looping around of trying to express their a passion through their work. Yeah, and it's very hard for many people. They do professions and they may be spiritual in the background, maybe they see, but they don't go in what is your strength is bringing out what their purpose is, right? And not to say, oh, I have a guide here and a guide here, and I listen to this, I listen to, but you support them to listen to themselves, to embody their own knowledge, to follow their own instinct, their own wisdom, right? So can you give a little tip if now someone is listening that had experienced what you've experienced but has not come out yet, but is looking for a way because you have such a rich experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is that you have to find your own way. Like all the trainings, all the things I've looked at, like with being a coach, healer, whatever, all that stuff online, all those labels. Who knows what I am, but but yeah, all those things, and people say, well, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. If you just do your socials and do all the posts or do whatever it is, like. No, it's your mindset. No, it's meditation. No, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. Everybody's got their ideas of what it is that you need to be doing to be at your highest level of actualization or be awake enough or whatever. It's like all this, like I always want to do a whole comedy show, like a one-man show.
Do it, please do it.
Be the one. Come on, follow me. We'll make millions. And then you got somebody else like, oh, dear ones, it's so easy. We just flow with the wind and all this stuff. And it sounds like I'm making fun of people, but like, I love it all. Like, quite frankly, I love all those people. I love all the things they're representing. I might not be making it wrong. What I'm saying is, like, with all these different messages, it's like you start thinking, because the mind has been conditioned like a school. There's one way. There's like here's the curriculum. This is what you need to learn. This is what gets you ahead. This is what gets you the A or whatever, and your mind is set up that way. You've been conditioned into that. There's so many different ways. What's the right way for you? What's the calling for you in your lifetime? And then what's the way for you to operate? Even for me, like I've studied human design, I've been coached in it, all that stuff. It's great. It's wonderful. I totally appreciate it. I love it. And yet it's, I feel all these things have limits. They all have like constructs, right? Oh, here's another box. You're a manifesting generator. So we got you figured out already.
Another box. Yes.
That
I feel that too.
Let's look at the gene keys. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. It's like, okay, I totally love it, right? But it's not going to define me. Like, okay, I have to do everything exactly the way I've been told in this playbook. You've got to find your own authentic path. What is your authentic path? How do you want to just play out your life? How do you want to experience who you are? And yes, there is likely a unique purpose, purpose that you have in this world, right? So we want to tap into that. So I tap into that, together with people and have them, do meditative exercises and all that stuff. Sure. And then through coaching and all that, we can really land with that, for the coaches and healers that are a little confused on that still or want more clarity around it. We can do all those things. We can really get it clear. We can get it clear enough, right? And it always is evolving, right? Okay, no, I think it's more like this, because it's more of like a piece of art than only science, right?
Yes, I love that.
Art, right? Yeah, who we believe we are even and all that stuff. So, but from that foundation, what's fun, what interests you, what brings you a sense of connection with your heart and joy and fulfillment, the way you would love to experience it, like that's the direction. Now, it doesn't always work out, like, but I did that, I had fun, I did it, and I didn't make any money or whatever, things like that, like in a business. It's like, okay, that's okay. We just need to refine, like, okay, what is it? Where are you maybe not stepping into your true value, your power? Where's the disconnect? Where's the lack of alignment with who you truly are? Because when you're really being who you are and really serving the purpose you come here to serve, it's all going to work. Yeah. It will work. But if you keep trying to just, listen to what everybody else says, all the gene keys, all the human design. I mean, sometimes it works out for people, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, like, for some of us, people like me that feel like we can't be contained in a box, you have to be like you have to be untamed, right? You need to come out and just be all of who you really are in the way that you want to be. If you're meant to niche, we're going to niche you. If you're meant to be about 5 different things that have 5 different target markets, that's what we're going to do. If that's what lights you up, if that's your truth, that's really real for you. There's no
Yes.
complete dogma. There's only, yeah, these are guidelines, these are ideas, but they're ultimately just concepts. I say it's just like when we go to the gym. The concept is heavy weights, we lift it, we grow muscle, all this stuff. Everybody's got all the science. The truth is, if we're aligned and we really want to get past the limitation game, we could probably go in there and lift any amount of weight that we want. Now, people think I'm crazy, but it's really true because it's just all a bunch of stuff. If this stuff is an illusion, why couldn't we go in and lift 1,000 pounds today? I'm not recommending it, by the way. Don't go trying this on your own if you don't know more of the magic of how this all works. You're not a weak enough. I don't want anybody to hurt themselves and say I told them to do it. I'm saying like everything's possible, and I know it from my own experimentation. And practically speaking, in my business, I built a multi-6-figure business, yes, with smart strategies and all this stuff, but it all came by me just being me. It's
Yes,
become
important.
me being me. It comes from me doing it the way that lights me up, that feels fulfilling and cool and fun for me, and me being more of all of me. But if I try to do it, oh, well, the gene keys told me I should do it this way, or the human design, I don't want to keep picking on the same ones, the Enneagram, whatever one it is, right? Astrology tells me today's not the day or whatever.
Yeah, very restrictive.
Yes, very restricted. And when we're completely unlimited, we can transcend any of those things, which has always been my core message for everybody. That's great. All that stuff, to be kind of aware of it, maybe even to take time in your life to study it, maybe immerse yourself into it if that's your thing, if that lights you up. That's fine. That's great. That's perfect. But if it doesn't, you're still searching for answers, like I have been at times in the past, particularly and you resonate with, hey, I'm unlimited. I am one with the one and everything. I am meant to experience the fullness of who I am in every level and every possible way. Like I love that. Like I love that. And then to experience the sense of real world results, right? Man, I got a great business. I love this aspect of my this and that. And I just love that I'm connected with the one, because our deeper inner purpose is just to be connected, right? Just like everything's
Yes,
wondrous, right?
for
And
sure.
then there's the sense of like all the things we get to play with people might label as outer purpose, right? Like, but it's all interconnected. And, I find if you are amazingly connected with your inner purpose, yes, everything in those moments you're connected will feel wondrous. But then, you'll have moments you're like, I feel really lost, though, if I'm honest. Like, I'm really happy, but I really feel lost at the same time. See, so you have to take care of that outer purpose, and that outer purpose will bring you more rootedness within your inner purpose for sure. So I kind of talk in a rambling style sometimes, but that's my fun way of
Yeah,
communicating.
you go around, and I recognize this very similar to you. It's spiraling. I always believe you take people into an energy when you speak, and you spiral them around, take them
Yes,
down in a spiral or up. No,
yes, yes, yes. It's just
no,
my
this.
style. Then we could get down to laser into any one point, like, okay, let's talk about this point or that point and drill into it. That's how I do it with people. But I mean, but for these kind of expansive conversations on a podcast like this, it's like, guys, just realize how much more you are, and that's the number one thing. You're getting downloads all day long. You're like, well, I heard from my guys, I kind of heard this or that. You're getting way more downloads than that. I just want you to be aware of that. It's really important to just realize there's infinite downloads coming to you. And once you start realizing that, you can just relax into the flow of all the downloads that are coming through, and then let that path that it naturally wants to kind of emerge, that really feels the most aligned to just kind of just flow. Yeah, that's where you're going to experience the greatest fulfillment. I could,
You know, it just comes while you were speaking, download, and suddenly I thought, oh my God, but we are also grand beings. We can give an upload.
yeah.
So I think this is really important, and I hope this shifts a lot in many people at the moment. They're all, every one of us, we both here, I myself and everyone out there, we are grand beings, light beings, as you said, and here to explore more of what we are and what to bring. And we always go in exchange, and we are in constant exchange, right? And now I am with you. There's my cat meowing. I'm in constant, but we have a plant here, so the plant is an exchange. I have to look. My eyes get drawn out to the tree because they're giving input even while I'm just listening and to the depths. So and this information goes through you, right? There is always this movement, and the Grand Lakes or the Great Lakes right there in the background, making sure we get freshness and refreshing. So there's this movement. There's something about you and me too. This movement is going, and we're not supposed to be beings that are fixated. And I think that's what you spoke a little bit about this the whole time. We are movable beings. We move. We should be always on the move, right? And so that's why you're so grand, Daniel. You bring so much wisdom. You have knowledge of so much, and to just bring and it's like tick 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 tick. If I would do sounds, right? These came. That's what you do the whole time. It doesn't fit in our vocabulary. That's already where it starts, right? You spoke about construct. Sometimes the experiences we have of our vocabulary are constructs. And I also love that you spoke so much about living our experience and inviting us to do that. And I want to share also with the audience now, my life was this, right? I was business. I studied veterinary medicine. I studied landscape architecture, then moved into art. But now, and also often I said, oh my God, you're a failure, Meilin, and you don't know what you want. And I don't know how often I heard that, Meilin, you can't decide, or you want to stay with one thing. But now I'm bringing all of these together, and I could not be with these all different directions. That's what lights me up. So I'm happy yet that you're speaking about this, Daniel. You give us permission, you give us a freedom, you give us encouragement to really explore what we're doing now already, and to play more with it, and maybe also bring it together, or maybe it will lead in a new direction. But you do and bring that for us, and I'm very thankful about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I believe everybody thinks there's a singular point we're all meant to get to, is what comes to mind. Like, you're going to become enlightened. Okay, that sounds like some static endpoint. We're going to get to where you're successful. Static endpoint, right? We're going to get you to $1 million in your business. Static endpoint. Like, it's just
I like that.
Exchange of energy that's never ending, right? I mean, it's not about that. Yeah, it's fine to have those goals or whatever intentions. That, in fact, I recommend it. For most people, it depends on the person again, but usually we do have those things. We have some genuine desires, so yeah, you're going to have those things. But it's about the dynamic creation of everything, and knowing, like, yeah, as soon as we get there, we're going to enjoy the next leg of the journey. It's like we're going to Paris, and then who knows where we'll go, but I don't know yet. But the next,
yes,
great, we're going to try all of it. The whole journey, wherever we decide to spend it in Paris, that's great too, or whatever. Like, it could change at any time, right? The idea that it could change at any time, it's possible. Your truth could change at any time. What you believe, what you're connected to as your truth could change at any time. To be willing to go with that. When I started Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, it was because I wanted to share light leaders with the world that could help other people to shift their consciousness.
Yeah.
Wanted to do it in a way where it wasn't just me as the talking head. I wanted to bring, other people and feature them, bring their work forward. And because there's tons of good work out there. And I just wanted to bring their voices first and foremost. And now, it's reaching quite a lot of people. Got, again, Neil Donald Walsh, Judith Orloff, whatever, like all these different names, different people, like people that have been on Mind Valley and all this stuff, different names. I don't need to mention them all, but reaching out to me like over these last few months and coming on my show. So it's all because I've been consistent. I keep showing up for 4 years because I love what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you're sharing it with the world, and you have a grander vision. And I think this is the underlining. It's a passion to really bring change or facilitate the change that is happening here, if we can call it energy or the light vibration that is coming, the informations that the star nations are bringing, right? The more we get to see different viewpoints from many different people, but also at the same time, it shows how much we have together. Right? This creates this strength, and then we don't have to be, so I don't have to be, you don't have to be so afraid to move forward. Then it is like there is a community of like-minded, I think, yeah, the like-minded ones, right? So then, because we can't fathom all what comes, some have the insight and sense what is coming, and are preparing many of us, but then it becomes easier to first to be present, right? To follow, as you said so beautifully, in your purpose, and you're supporting people in your purpose and on your passion and your mission, what to bring to the world. Yeah, and to bring that out then, and that becomes so, I don't know, it's fun then. And then we can have more fun in community. We don't feel lonesome. And this lonesomeness, if you feel singular, yeah, was trained into us by the last thousands of years, but this is disappearing. So thank you for making this a beautiful podcast of, spiritual rock stars. It's a fun topic, but you also have another one that goes the different route, and I think is one where you go also much deeper in conversations. It's called Just Two Conscious Guys Talking, right?
Right.
So then share about that, why you started this now, because that's the most recent one that you added in.
Yes. Well, it all has to do with my own journey of being a man. It's like, I just always felt, relatively awkward as a boy, like I never, related deeply to being in the masculine energy fully. I mean, like to fully embrace that masculine energy within me. And so I always felt like a different kind of guy because I had a lot of softness, a lot of love, a lot of a lot of light, and we're like, well, that's not being a man. Being a man means you're into cars, girls, and whatever. I don't know, like whatever, what the stereotypes are. And so for me, I had these disconnections, and so for me, I wanted to find again, it's all about finding your authentic path, right?
Yeah.
So these guys that I have come on, or they're conscious leaders, they come on and we have conversations about what guys deal with, especially more sensitive, connected guys, like the different paths we've gone down. Some of them gone down dark paths, been in jail and drugs and all kinds of things. Yet they're these love bugs, they really just want to serve the light, but they don't know, they know how. They don't know how to do that, right? Or, I mean, all the way to way less traumatic situations, right? So to talk with these conscious leader men, because there's all the talk, and it's so there's so much truth to it, of the patriarchy and all this stuff. But it's like, okay, what created the patriarchy is my big thing of the show. Let's talk about, the guys are talking about. I've even had, I even have like women come on here and there. I've had one, and I'm having another one on, because there's women that have advocated for men, and how men are not seen as like having the challenges that they authentically have. It's like, oh, you've got all the best of it. It's the women's time. Throw the men to the side, and it's like there's some vibes around that, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, have you ever considered like why men are the way they are? Like, let's dig
Oh,
into
I love that. Yes.
yeah, let's dig into it. It's like, okay, let's see what that's all about. Like, everything's happening with the sense of co-creation, right? I mean, men, women, everything, and all that sort of thing. And so we start to deconstruct all that stuff in there for men primarily. But I know, probably half my audience is women. Women are curious about the topic. God bless women. I mean, they want to know, they want to help their men, they want to understand more, help their sons, help their
I'm one like this, right? I have, for example, I have a son. I know you have 3 children, but so this really got me to think, because I always wanted to be me, Daniel, fully, so I can be a good example for him, right? So I don't have to tell him things that he can do and see, and so yeah, and then
Yep.
he can follow his own path. And
Yes.
since then it has moved something. So what is then, and just the last few years, more and more important for me is the feminine principle, right? Universal principle. What is this carried? And that is men and women, but it has to do with the moon and us women. God, 8,000 years ago, the conquerors destroyed all the moon temples. It was where the women were women. And I think 8,000 years, we haven't really been women, not the
Yep.
women that we should be in our natural state,
Mhm.
right? And so the moon brings this harmony and balance. And when we have it in harmony, we treat, first of all, ourselves different. And then that goes also over, how do I treat my child? Yeah, my son or daughter, and then the partner. And this is a really big issue. And I think more and more we will see the importance, how we can strengthen ourselves. And this is another, I mean, it's a gender oriented, but it's really important because it influences everybody on our planet.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here we are all embodied biologically as a female or a male.
Yeah.
Yeah, or some are in the in between. They have one or more of the other, and this is so important. And to figure that out and to give it freedom again. So this is very, very timely, and more and more information, old information, is coming back. Also, we're finding things under the earth that has been hidden, so we can get that knowledge and begin embodying, right? That's how we started with embodying. And also that's what the Great Lakes mentioned. That's what a really old body of water in the United States, which has touches many other countries. And I don't know how, if you, before the continents, they touched before in the water, and then it was a little closed again. But I always sense there is still some kept information that wants to bubble up, and it's slowly touching everyone, and the people that are living around there, if they're the native tribes that have been there for thousands, tens of thousands of years, or maybe then people that have crossed and moved there as well. But there is something, it's giving it feels like now there's like little pups, little pups, and they go out into the people, maybe while they eat the fish, they swim in it, or they breathe in the air. So if you do live around those lakes, take a different look at the lake at the moment. And why did it show up for us in this episode while I'm speaking with Daniel? Yeah, this is really, and it's interesting. You have man in your name,
Mhm.
Daniel, right? Your name is Hanneman. So you have the man, the man. So you're also, this is one of your paths.
Right.
It's
Right.
really is, what is a man? What are we here to do? How can I embody being a man fully, but also to do the work I'm here to do, and
Mhm.
and in your purpose. So I wish you so, I mean, you're always inventing new things, so I don't have to worry, but I wish you a lot of new ideas and ways to really, sometimes I wish faster, but you're doing it already. Yeah, right. You use all of your gifts and bringing them together. So what is a vision still for you that you haven't gotten to?
I would say the number one is that, which I was just thinking about this as I was that my rambling style I mentioned earlier is, especially when we're on a topic like this, tend to be even more rambling. But I was thinking about how I always, like many people, have seen myself as a speaker that inspires a lot of people. And, in my mind, it's come to me as being in front of like big audiences and things like that, and in person. And so that's one of them that I think I've been reluctant to, you know, allow that to happen. And then I could say, well, I don't really, if I'm being honest with myself, I don't know how good of a speaker I am anyway, and all this stuff. And, like I could come up with reasons very easily. But really, I mean, it's just like you said, well, what hasn't transpired yet? That's part of it, because my real mission is to wake people up to more of the infinite of who they are. Like, like if I could just help people realize how much more they really are, people are like, yeah, but we already, like my mind could say, yeah, but people are already doing that kind of work, but they're not doing it the way I do it. They don't do it the way I do it, through teaching them around energy scanning and, things like that. Like, as a portal, and realizing we can, I've got a program called Lead the Way Like Jesus to Prosper Your Business. I mean, it's all there just to point in, hey, Jesus is an example. I mean, another example of what's possible. I mean, there's been so many, but he's one.
And then it's a very well-known example, and really who has embodiment, who really understood materialization, who has cross-cultural, right? Seeing people who they are. Yeah, that's a good example, and many people know about, or maybe
Yeah,
don't know all about him. So you share
right.
more depth. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as at least the way we perceive, his, the story of Jesus and this, who knows who Jesus really is anymore, right? But like all the stories, all the weaving of energy, but the perception becomes, this is a guy that embodied the feminine, the masculine in this great way, and is so balanced and so magical and so connected. And so he's a great, great example, and many different ways that he led and whatnot. Now, if you read through the Bible, the way I've been doing more of that lately, going back into the Bible, directly into a Bible, it's kind of wild. Some of the stuff you read in there, you're like, oh, I don't know about that, whatever, there's definitely things. But if you take the energetic essence of what we perceive in Jesus, and you see the way he carried himself, an example that he's been, and what he transmitted for so many of us, that's what I'm pointing into. I'm like, these things the greater you shall do, he said, right, along those lines. And so we have the ability to, wake up to that level. And there's so many things Jesus didn't talk about that I want to talk about. Like, guys,
Yes.
you want to talk about oneness? I could tune in right now to someone sitting in their office in Beijing or something like that, tell you their entire life story right now, and I could probably, I might even nail their name, and I'll tell you exactly their entire life story. I could do it right now. Now, am I going to say I could do it 100% right now? I'm saying, like, yeah, probably. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just saying, like, I could just scan the entire world and find somebody tell you their whole life story. How much more of an example of oneness do we need? But the conditioned mind doesn't believe any of it, right? Not totally. It's like, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, they'll chance, what's that, a magic trick? Or, like, they see on TV and stuff like that. They just think it's all a bunch of nonsense. But no, we have those capacities. So if I can do that, what else is possible, right? What else is possible? And it's not because we're trying to harness this power to be so, again, with the ego part of it, of like, well, we'll make it our way now. And it's an awareness. It's the awareness of who we are and how we get to experience, we get to experience who we are, like that's what's cool. It's not what we can achieve as much as like the fun we can have with it, right? Yeah, I mean that might be part of the fun, but it's like it's just for exploration. It's just for fun. It's just the journey, right? And so that's what I like to teach people is you have these abilities, not just me, it's not just Jesus, it's not just these other people. You have these abilities. How could we serve our collective evolution if we were more aware of these things and harness these abilities that we have? And so that's my mission, and I want to do that in a much more expanded way in the years to come. But I've
Yes,
just
good.
recently come back to offer like the 2-day trainings, the energy scanning and everything. I've got coming up right now, but sure, this won't be released for a little while, but I'm busy, just bringing coaches and healer types and whatnot back into that.
Yeah,
Right.
the reluctant leader, or I have to even say the reluctant healer, right? Maybe, oh, it's also the combination. The reluctant healer leader or the reluctant leader healer.
Yes.
This is really something. You're helping all these people because the moment we step into who we are, we influence not just ourselves, we influence everything around us. If I allow myself to be more often, right, Daniel, it's giving ourselves the allowing ourselves permission again. But in that moment when I start that, I've noticed over and over it bleeds out into the family. Yeah, if it's my husband or my son, or if it is the neighbors or a workplace, over and over I saw that. So any work any one of you is doing, or if you connect with Daniel, who does fascinating work, right, and so easy, and with the lightness, and it brings you so far. It is worth, I think, at the moment, to really to explore ourselves. You said that so beautifully, Daniel, to explore ourselves even deeper, Anu, to become aware of what you are able to do, and aware of where you have pinched your eyes closed, or you pinched your mouth closed, or you tightened your body and said, oh, why did I do that? And open up, right? That there's a free flow of energy, of light,
Mhm.
right? And that you give your ability in that you don't shut down if a person says, oh my God, I can't be able to. Did I just think that? Did I just hear that? No, that's crazy. It can't be.
Right.
And you're giving them again, Daniel, just with the example you use, that you can connect with any person, right, through
Right.
this interwoven and a network within seconds, and tell the story. That is a hard thing to carry. So that's what I got out of you too. You had a burden, or you're still carrying a little bit of that burden, right? Of having this, you're in my eyes, you're a wizard. Also, you're more sorcerer. You're so connected also to the non-material, and to embody that. And there's also, now I come more from Germany. I live now in a region where we were hunted for this, burned, killed, until just maybe 100 years ago still. And for over 300 years, you can see it everywhere. So it is in our country. But you moving now, freeing yourself up more and more, and able to combine what you're bringing from the cosmos, the wizardry, the ability, right? It's like you can go like this. If you're listening only and not seeing the video, it's like my hands are moving the whole time anyway. When Daniel was speaking, my hands are moving. I can feel and sense the constant speed also that you carry in moving things. So most people that you, I think, even also when you call them conscious, it's very hard for them to grasp what speed, Daniel, that you bring, and to be in a life where you barely understood, seldom understood. I say chapeau, hat off for this endurance and the passion that you're not giving up. And even when that arises, that you step and you're still doing it, that you stepped and are stepping into the biggerness of you and exploring more of you, and you always and you constantly have the greater good under in focus, or it comes out of you. And for that, I really, really want to thank you, Daniel. So how could people connect with you best?
Oh, okay. Thanks. So one of the best ways to get started to connect with me is to just get my free meditate, make money meditation, really. Because that really starts, which most people say that are connected people, they say there's more than just meditating and making money in that track. So, so you can check that out through the links. I'm sure that
I'll
Meilin
put them in the
put in
notes.
there. Yeah, but so you can go to my website. That you'll definitely see it there at yoursacredpurpose.com as well. And get started with a single meditation. I mean, just even that alone is going to help you to start to really connect with what I'm talking about, because you'll feel the energy if you're like most people, and it opens up your energy, your chakras some, and gets you some guidance, for what wants to happen with your purpose. And I am a practical person at the same time. I like, how can we build our businesses? How can we serve more people? How can we make more money? How can we, enjoy our lives more? Like all the tangibles. I'm not like one of those ungrounded people that's just like I'm about, like I'm so ungrounded. I'm like up in the clouds all the time. I am here on Earth. I'm here to enjoy the Earth plane. And yes, we can, definitely. Although I will say, I used to talk about. I had an organization, and I used to say with the Academy for Invincible Healers, I used to have an organization called that. I used to say we're an intergalactic organization, because if we would start to
Yeah.
think more in these sorts of terms, we're going to be liberated, guys. But so if you want to get out of the, more out of the box in a sense, yet you're a practical person at the same time, if you sound sort of like me, really, right? Like like-minded, go take a look at okay, wow, I want to connect more with this energy. I don't know, there might be something here. Get the meditate and make money meditation and get started with that, and you'll see more what I offer from there. I mean, there's more once you opt in for the meditation. And then I also have these energy scan trainings coming up. This is where you'll be able to tap into what I'm talking about. Like somebody will just say, hey, I've got somebody in my mind, can you tell me about them? You could literally do that. Like there's so many applications, or just be able to tune into somebody in a deep way. We're not talking just Akashic record stuff. Like we're going deep into their energy, deep into their stuff. And, again, I'm making anything right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, there's a depth to it that most people have not stepped into. And definitely nobody's, teaches it the way I do or with the technique that I share. So you've got, and then how can you combine this deep way of being, this fun way we can be of exploring who we are, and gain clients and serve them in these more expanded ways than ever before, to really wake up the world. If that interests you, then I definitely would love for you to reach out on social media and all over the place. Of course, I got my podcast is another good intersection, Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. And if you like the just two conscious men talking kind of idea we talked about. So yeah, there's all kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, and each one is an inspiration right away, because each becomes a tool, becomes an exploration. That's how you set up everything, I think.
Right.
What I see, right? So that there is a recognition of everyone of themselves, right? If I can put that in words with a sense, what
Right. Right.
you're doing
And you
with these
got, I
tools.
mean, you do these energy scans. Now I have one on my right there, consultation right on my website, but I'm constantly looking for people to scan, because as I scan people, I'm scanning, not just you, but it is a oneness field. I'm seeing something about me and you. I'm not projecting, but I'm going to be more likely to notice things that, are going on within me, within you, right? Oh, I see this about you. I'm seeing myself. We're all interconnected. We're all one,
Yes, yes.
yet I am seeing you, right? So, So if you reach out to me after you opt in for the free meditation and you're like, I'd love to experience an energy scan, and you don't want to go the consultation route because it's like, well, I don't know, I just would love to this energy scan. I think sounds fun. I do a certain amount of free 15-minute energy scans every week, that I'm around. Sometimes I'm out of town. And so feel free you can even just request that. Like, I love to receive one of these scans where you go through my chakras, energies, and you get deeper information. I do it on my show sometimes really quick with people, and it's changed some people's lives and my guests' lives. Like, just the quick downloads I give them at the end of the show. I mean, they're like, oh my God, how do you know that? And that, and it opens them up to something new.
Possibility. You're creating possibility. So the opening up, if we see that something is possible, if I see something is possible, if you see something is possible, it creates, again, possibility in an exponentially for all of us. So everyone, we can open up, we open up hundreds at the same time. Yeah. So that's a whole other topic we can talk about, Daniel. So, wow, this was very beautiful. Thank you for your rambling. I really enjoyed it because I could feel it, and I could feel a little the star nations at the speed of how your things, your energy, the light you're bringing through of us through the words. And I think our language sometimes is too slow.
Yeah, that's right. Let's speed it up.
So thank you, and everyone, reach out to him. You heard that the podcasts, both of them, really fascinating. Spiritual rockstar, just two conscious guys talking. If you want to learn more about your purpose and how you can bring it out into the world, is another reason. Or take advantage of the 15-minute energy scan Daniel has opened to, so you recognize a little bit more about yourself. So there's so much for you. Please do it now. 2024 is one of the most important years in ages, and where we are asked, I think we should push each other. We should nudge each other. We should walk to, hang on and go together forward in exploring who we are, because it's needed. Because more others need you than need me, need us. So this is, I think, also the idea of Daniel. He's nodding if you're listening the whole time to this. So once more, thank you very much, Daniel, for bringing your time to the podcast, Moving to Oneness. Everyone else, the best to you. Enjoy your time, enjoy your energy, scan yourself, maybe even before you reach out to Daniel, and see how beautiful the world is, and do follow your passion, your sacred passion. Bye-bye.